Hello and welcome to my narrated rolling. Each week I roll with my friends Jason and Gosia, and we've been doing so for the past year as part of a training bubble just between us lot. And I use these videos just really for self-analysis, but also to help my own students, because I try to put into practice what I teach them, and I show not only my successes but also my failures. I think it's important to admit that you make mistakes, and a lot of jiu-jitsu is about problem solving. So by looking at videos, it helps a lot. Anyway, in this role I chose because it's one where I'm trying to put into practice my pressure passing skills, which I've improved a little bit recently, and I found a bit more success on, certainly at least with my training partners. So let's have a look at what I do here and break it down. Like I say, everything begins with stand up, so we're doing a little bit of grip fighting. Usually when it's Jason and I, one of us will pull guard, but recently we've been trying to do a little bit more stand up, some judo, some wrestling takedowns, just to foil each other's attempts at pulling guard and taking over the control. Okay, so in this case, yep, Jason pulls guards, and immediately he is wrapping for some sort of a lapel grip here, some sort of worm guardy type of stuff, which he's much better at than me. I know for that I don't like that. It's it's quite horrible to be in that position, because once he's established a very good lapel grip, it's very hard for me to move from there and establish any control. So I want to get out of there as possible, so I know that hanging around in this open guard is not a good idea, so I move very quickly to get out. Passing the knee line, but that's the second stage. I pass the feet, but passing the knee line is very hard. He takes a collar grip. Now here it looks to me like I felt that he was fishing for a triangle. He gets his other leg, you can't quite see it, but yeah, his other leg is around here, so it looks like it's sort of in a triangle. One of my arms is out, or about to be out, and the other arm is in. You can't see it, but the arm is in. I also felt him fiddling with that lapel, and it looks like he's going for a Bravo grip. Now this is a very popular move from students at Mill Hill. My instructor Nick Brooks teaches this a lot. He's used it himself in competition, so consequently our own students, myself, we tend to use that grip a lot, and it's incredibly effective. And I know once he has that successfully wrapped around, looped around my neck, back of my neckline, he can really control my posture. See, he's already got that grip, so it's not very pleasant for me. Now the one thing I used to do is sit back, and that pretty much gave me a little bit more breathing space, but it also gave my opponent more room to assert dominance. So now what I've been trying to do is move forward into and onto my opponent. Look at the stiff arm. I'm pushing the collar across his neckline. I've no hope of really choking him out, but it's really annoying when you've had someone doing that. It annoys you, and anything I can do to annoy the opponent means a little bit more room for me to move. Now watch this hand. Okay, this arm is inside the triangle. This arm is outside the triangle, outside his legs, or it soon will be. Have a look at what I do with it. There, I grip the pant. I grip the pant line. Gripping the pant line, again, another Nick Brooks instructional tip that he gave us. I've also seen it with other tutorials as well, and you see it a lot in competition. When you grip the pant line, you control the hips, and more importantly, you control the elevation of the hips. And that means anything that the person in guard tries to do is limited by how much control he has over his hips. So by raising his hip line, I can put more power into that stiff arm, and that's really horrible. You can see Jason is really not enjoying that at all. Again, I'm not hoping to choke him out. If I get a submission, that's a bonus. What you're trying to do is make them panic and release that guard, and hoping that you will pass. So I'm pushing and pushing and pushing. I'm really lifting him. He can't move. He's jammed in that position. He's still insistent on that lapel grip there, knowing that it will reap dividends later on. But for me, I've passed guard now. Now Jason's very good. He's very nimble and flexible, and he's good at spinning around. So he's got some sort of weird guard here, but I'm actually past his legs here. Let's see what happens here. Again, I go back to plan A again. gripping onto the lapel, pushing down, old school pressure passing style, in the hope that he will panic. But I don't have the belt grip, the pant grip now. So he's got an open guard on me, and I'm sort of just stalling a bit here, as I'm a bit out of breath. But by keep my distribution, I keep my eye line over his eye line. If I pop over too much, it unbalances me and I'm susceptible for a sweep. See, he's already putting his foot there on my hip. I'm susceptible for a sweep going head over heels here. So whilst I want to keep my weight back a bit, I don't want to put my weight back too much because then he can push me away. So if I keep my eye line over his eye line, I know I'm in more or less a good position. Alright? So it's a bit neutrally, a bit stalling. I've no hope of really putting pressure on that collar on his choke there. He's trying to sweep me and I'm aware that is a danger, so I keep my base very wide here. Look. Now another thing I want to point out there, when you stand up in someone's close guard, you are susceptible for that. You know that one where they underhook your legs or they grab both ankles, double ankle sweep, you're susceptible to that. So I do try to keep my feet slightly away from his baseline here. Alright. Some more pressury shenanigans inside close guard. I'm also aware that he could triangle me and arm bar me, so I don't flare my elbows out too much. Can't quite see what's going on there. I think we were just fiddling around with me just stiff arming him and him trying to get that Bravo again. Now I'm twisting. Look at, I'm twisting my hips there. When you twist your hips inside someone's closed guard, it widens the aperture a little bit. So it creates an instability in his closed guard. Now here I'm grabbing under his head. This is a nice pressure pass position. If you grab behind his neck, you have control of his head and his shoulder line, which makes his life difficult. Now what I should be doing is walking up a bit more and twisting my hips in to twist his body up a bit more, but I wasn't successful in that. He's pushed me away. I'm still trying to, just a semblance of a grip behind his neck. It's not enough really. So he's trying that Bravo grip strangle again. But now here is an interesting point. Now look at my vertical hip line. I progressed beyond his vertical hip line. I've moved beyond. This means I've invaded his center of gravity much further. Now there are things he can do from there. Certainly a more flexible person can take advantage of that. But it does pin him down, which is super annoying for him. So that was another thing that I was looking to do in order to progress my position from there. And there he's pushed me back, so he's recovered his territory here in terms of his hip position to my vertical hip position. Okay, so now I have to really try and get up again, put that pressure on again, or think of something else. Now look at the double hand grip. I'm very vulnerable to that twisting motion where you get that sort of like a baseball bat choke type choke. In order to stop that, I need inside control. I need my hands inside to prevent that elbow of his here coming that direction. Let's see if I'm successful. There we go. I counter choke, just to get my hands inside. I'm pulling up a bit, slightly illegal. You're not allowed to pull the head in IBJJF rules. So I quickly give up on that because it's a bit naughty. And it's really just about applying my weight distribution and creating a nuisance for him so he can't get what he wants. Sure, I'm not really going to be in a guard passing position here. I kind of lost that momentum earlier on. But it's about damage limitation now. We're in a sort of a neutrally position. He's reaching over for that lapel. I've been subject to that many times, so I know what's coming. I'm really trying to avoid that. He's shifting his hips sideways now, getting more control over his guard. So Jason's doing very well here. I'm twisting around and he's got back control. There you go. Now this was half a decision on my behalf, half his action by him. When he has that Bravo grip, I know a strangle is coming. It's very hard to defend once he gets that cross grip, sleeve grip in. So I'm electing to present my back here. This is, you could consider a negative and a bad decision, but I feel that once I can actually escape better when I present my back. So it's a decision on my part, but it's also affected by Jason. He wants to get my back for points and to finish off strangles. So notice that twisting posture I use, it's not quite giving up my back fully, and I use that a lot more now thanks to watching instructions by Prit and Vim. Thanks for that. And that makes life a bit more awkward for him, and if it's awkward for him, that means good for me. So it allows me to reposition. Time runs out. So if it was a 5-minute round, I think you would have seen more of what I could have done from this twisted back position. Maybe I'll find another rolling footage where I do actually do that and manage to survive and escape from supposed back control. So anyway, I wanted to show that roll to show a little bit of how to deal with being inside someone's close guard, and maybe we'll show more of that later because I do use it a lot now.